Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to today's meeting of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. I'm sure, like most of you, we're enthralled with the Olympic Games in Paris. I checked this morning, and the U.S. is still in the medal count lead with 86, including 26 golds. So with that said, since I was a kid, my favorite part of the Olympics was always the flag-raising ceremony. So with that in mind, today's introductions and Song and Pledge are going to have special meaning for me. With that, let's begin our program with invocation from past President Jeff Hassel, Song and Pledge from Shanna Vollmer, and guest introductions from Joe Moore.
If you join me in prayer. Father, we gather today for this Rotary meeting to deepen our sense of community and connection, to celebrate the past and the future of Gathering Place, and to learn and grow. Thank you for the memories, connections, and joy that have blossomed within the grounds of Gathering Place. Thank you for the laughter that you can hear blocks away from there when it's crowded, and for the pride we feel as Tulsans as we enjoy telling our friends and family about it. Thank you for the support of the donors and the city leaders who help make the Gathering Place the vibrant, welcoming, and inclusive space that it has become and it will be. May this club, just like Gathering Place, embrace a spirit of unity and diversity, welcoming all who come to share. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
If you'll please join me in song, America the Beautiful. Please join me in pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
I'll introduce our guest Rotarians today, and I ask that you'd stand with your host, Rotarian, your guest. Amy Blackwell is the guest of Mike Neal, and remain standing until we've introduced everybody and we'll recognize you. Jason Mock is the guest of Shanna Vollmer. J.C. Jones is the guest of Tomalin. And Andrea Leach is the guest of our speaker, Julio Badin. Please help me welcome our guests today.
Welcome to all our guests today. I hope that everyone will consider joining our club. Our service opportunities, our programs, and everything else we do are things that I think speak to everybody. Last Wednesday, we did not meet here. It was the 5th Wednesday of the month, and we had our Service Above Self Day. Thank you to all Rotarians and friends who volunteered to serve at Catholic Charities Market and Celia Clinton Elementary, our partners in education school. We have long partnered with both of these organizations to create lasting change. Our Service Above Self Days are one of the easiest ways to give back and to participate with our club. These occur on the 5th Wednesday of the month. Our next Service Above Self Day will be on Wednesday, October 30th. More to come on that. Our youth exchange student, who we referred to last week, did arrive safely here in Tulsa, Magdalena Furthner from Austria. Rotary established the International Youth Exchange in 1929, and for decades, the Rotary Club of Tulsa has annually hosted students from around the world while sponsoring out-of-country students and other students from our area and allow our youth exchange student to get to know Tulsa and the United States. Youth exchange inspires young leaders to serve as catalysts for peace and social justice in their local communities and throughout the world. Long after their exchanges end, the memories they hold with them are invaluable. This program is possible because of the dedicated leadership and passion of tens of thousands of volunteers, Rotary members and non-members alike, who make this program successful worldwide. With that, I will introduce our Rotarian of the Day. Phil Lakin is CEO of the Tulsa Community Foundation and has been since 1999. TCF is the second largest community foundation in the United States. Lakin is known for working with donors, community leaders, and elected officials to improve the Tulsa area. He also serves as the city of Tulsa as Tulsa City Councilor for District 8, which comprises much of South Tulsa. He graduated from Jenks High School in 1985 and went and obtained his BBA and MBA from Baylor University. He's a graduate of Leadership Tulsa. Please welcome our Rotarian of the Day, past President Phil Lakin.
I know there's at least one Baylor Bear in the audience because I walked past him on the way. So it's a great honor for me to get to introduce to my friends at Rotary, to my friend Julio Badin. Julio is the ED. If you read his bio, you know that he's the executive director of Gathering Place, Guthrie Green, and Lowdown Club. As you know, if you read his bio, this is not his first rodeo. So before coming to Tulsa in 2021, Julio was Senior Vice President of Customer Experience at DFW Airport. So just try to wrap your head around that. I have a hard time roping my family of 5 and my cat and dog into doing a wide variety of things. But he was responsible for executing plans and hosting, feeding, directing, herding, entertaining 5 terminals of travelers of all different nationalities, dialects, interests, and needs every single day of the year. It's hard for me to put my head around that. Before DFW, he spent 18 years at Disneyland, where the imaginations of so many kids and adults come alive every single day. He oversaw attractions, food and beverage, retail, guest relations, and so much more. Seriously, I can't imagine going to Julio's house for like a party or an event. I'm sure he'd have everything arranged. He'd have activities, food stations, security, parking, valet. So next time, we're just going to have this over at your house, and we'll all be good. And we probably have air conditioning as well. Yeah. Julio's personality, attention to detail, and uncanny ability to connect kids and adults to an extraordinary experience obviously makes him and made him a perfect fit for Gathering Place. Beyond his professional roles, Julio has a knack for flat surfaces. He's an excellent tennis player, but he's a far better coach. In Michigan, he coached a top 10 high school tennis team and then a state #1 singles champion. And flat surfaces are good in another way because he is terrified of heights. So don't get stuck in the castle or on that little rope bridge thing because Julio is not going to come to your rescue. You all please welcome Julio to the Rotary Club of Tulsa.
This is a little high. Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing today? Yeah, it's hotter in here than it is outside, huh? No, that's all good. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm very honored to be able to speak to all of you, and I've just heard very quickly some of the great work that you do and have done throughout the years. So let me just start with me. Let's see. I wasn't born in this country. I was born in Colombia, South America, and at 5 months old, my parents, well, my dad was actually here because he was already starting as a medical doctor for an area called Flint, Michigan. I don't know if you've heard of it. Don't drink the water, yeah, all that stuff. But that was back in the days when they were really trying to find people to help with medical care. So he came over as in that, and we were able to sort of learn what it was to be an American and to be that in the heart of one of the hearts of the Midwest with a really wonderful, place to grow up and learn and understand. And then I left, swearing I'd never go back to Michigan. And I've been all over the world. I've been blessed with the opportunity to travel quite a bit, but I also have had the opportunity to live in Spain for half a year, and I lived in Tokyo for 3 years with Disney, which is really cool. And then spent 18 years in California, so the real Disneyland. Yes, no, seriously, the real one. And then the 4 years prior to here in that place called Dallas, that Dallas area. I did not apply for this job. I got a call from a recruiter, and they said Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I paused and very quickly jumped on, and where the hell is Tulsa, Oklahoma? Which I actually knew where it was because I actually, believe it or not, at some point, part of my family was here in Tulsa, extended family, and more over in the Oklahoma City area. So I knew a little bit, but I had never really spent any time in Oklahoma, didn't know much about it, and I wasn't really that interested, to be honest with you. And then we started talking, and she talked about this place called Gathering Place, and she threw a couple fun facts like, oh yeah, it's not your ordinary community park. Boy, was that an understatement. And some guy, he had this vision and put $200 million behind it, and I'm just absolutely curious. And then I think that was really interesting, but even more interesting was the fact that the city, the community also put in a whole bunch of money into this place and then gave it back to the community itself. And then I jumped online and I looked at the website and I'm like, wait a second, what is going on here? Now my Disney eyes are started to get activated, right? And I'm like, what are they doing up there? So now I'm just curious. Now, think back. This was during the height of the pandemic. We were all doing virtual stuff and, and green spaces were probably even more important at that point than they had been in a long time. And so I just got excited. I was like, well, I'm just morbidly curious. I just want to see what this is. And I have to admit, and this is embarrassing, but I really thought that Oklahoma was just brown. Like, that was, my impression was people dancing in some wheat field somewhere in the corner of nowhere. And so I actually decided to drive up my very first time, and I'm driving, and I'm like, it's really green. All the way up, because from Dallas to here, it's a pretty straight shot. And that was already, like, misnomer number one for me. Here's the ignorant person coming in having no idea what, and that's important because misconceptions can drive a lot of bad things. And so I got here, and I was absolutely confused. I'm like, who does this? Who builds a park like this? My Disney eyes were like, Disney would never build this, except for a couple exceptions. The 5-star hotel that you charge $800 to $1,000 a night, or those cruise ships that they spend a couple $1 billion on and make sure that you all pay for it, right? So those were the two sort of things I thought, those are the exceptions. But, at Disneyland, everything looks really cool, but it's basically, fake from 8 feet up, right? It's designed very much. And then I looked at this park and the attention to detail, the purpose-based, every single area had a purpose, the access. I was so excited to see a space that wheelchairs could go everywhere, wide paths, and just this opportunity for a community to be able to look at something and go, that's mine, that's ours. And so I went from morbidly curious to how do I convince them that I'm the right person for the role. And that was further, after I met the team, it even cemented my desire even more, because here's a whole bunch of like-minded people who want to provide this, and they love their community, they love Tulsa, and they want to provide this for fellow Tulsans. And that was just really endearing and exciting to me. And I knew at some point in my career I wanted to try to be a little bit more community-oriented, and this is starting to make sense to me. So you guys know Tulsa, you know Gathering Place, but let's just look at it for a second.
Gathering Place is not just a park. It's a world of adventure waiting for you. Nestled along the scenic Arkansas River in Tulsa, Oklahoma, this one-of-a-kind park is a testament to the power of community, generosity, and nature's endless wonder. Our story began with a vision that inspired change, to transform more than 100 acres of Tulsa's iconic waterfront into a vibrant, immersive haven where people from all walks of life could come together, explore, learn, and play, all for free. Gathering Place is a park for all. It's a welcoming escape where you can experience nature, music, art, and culture. Here, your imagination is limitless. Creativity and playfulness soar throughout the park's rolling hills, lush gardens, whimsical structures, and thoughtful architecture. The park is a place where moments are cherished, hearts are touched, and togetherness is prized above all else. Every corner of Gathering Place tells a story of families, friends, and strangers who've gathered to create lasting memories. From the playground and lodge to the gardens and sports courts, there's something here for everyone. At Gathering Place, we strive to educate, engage, and excite. As we continue to blossom and grow, we look forward to creating even more opportunities to be a park for all. So we invite you to gather with us, to be part of something extraordinary. Because here at Gathering Place, it's not just a visit. It's an adventure that inspires. We look forward to gathering with you.
Well, you can thank Andrea and her team for making that come to life. But then you can also thank yourselves, because really it's this community who made this happen. And I say that with complete humility. There are not a lot of communities that have this ability. And I've been here for 3 years, and I will tell you that, and like I've told you, I've lived in a lot of different places, and I've met a lot of wonderful people. But I would say that Tulsa would be at the top of the list of some of the most friendly people that I've ever met. On day one, like, it's almost scary. You will look like you need something, and somebody will invariably walk up to you and say hello and start a conversation and probably invite you for a drink or something like that. And, you know, I enjoyed my 4 years at Dallas, but that never happened at Dallas, you know, and there's something weird that happens in Dallas. People get in the cars and they become just absolute maniacs. And that's from somebody who lived in California for 18 years. Yeah, that doesn't happen here. I actually had to adjust to the fact that people will actually wait for you to do what you need to do ahead of time, and I'm like, okay, that's just very, very nice. So, you know, Tulsa is a generous city, and it's just an honor to be able to be representing one of the spaces that just shows the whole world how generous this city is to its community and to all that want to visit, you know. And so we take it very seriously. So what really cinched it for me in making my decision to come here was simple. One, the community itself. I literally came several times before I made my decision, and of course, the decision was also made to extend the offer. But one in particular that made me feel really, really inspired was, you know, I came from a city that had some difficult history, right? Flint, Michigan. I actually lived in a place called Flushing. I would never say Flint because, you know, but then Flushing doesn't sound any better. So it's just a tough life I had. You know, and listen, the people in Flint are wonderful people, but the can-do was sucked right out of them, right? For whatever reason, and we can argue that. and then challenge after challenge. Here, similar situation. The can-do was sucked out of this place in the 80s and very similar situation, but not the resilience and the spirit. That lived on and has been something that's been focused on, and that's a tribute to everybody here who cares about this place and cares about what we deliver. And that is really cool. And it's really neat that in my first week, I can sit at Que Gusto, one of my favorite little restaurants, by myself and have a beautiful older couple turn to me and just start talking to me and having a full-on conversation, and we were friends by the end of that meeting, all because I just made a little glance over. And I was just like, wow, I don't know another place. I tell my friends when they come to visit, and they always are like, yeah, and they leave going, yeah, you know. And I have literally dozens of stories already in my 3 years, you know. And so that's what Gathering Place is all about too. You know, Gathering Place is designed to a level that you don't see in many places. And then it's about the community owning it and interpreting it the way you want to interpret it. So we take a park for all very seriously. That means we are very careful on how we program. It means that there are going to be people there who have differences of opinion, have different ways of thinking about life and all those things, but that's their park on their terms. That is our only requirement, is that you respect that people have differences and similarities, because in most cases what we've learned is that the similarities pretty much outweigh most of the differences. And so it's been a great recipe for us, so we don't spend a lot of time on other things and making sure that we deliver on it through action and through competency. So I am very proud of the 150 staff members of all types of people who are very competent in what they do. And then I get blessed with some volunteers from the community who come out and help us. There's one sitting right over there. Nice shirt, by the way. And so that really starts to tell the story. And Gathering Place is so impactful to people. I walked it this morning about 7:30 in the morning. People were already in the park, and I had 3 people stop me and thank me for the park. Okay, 3. Now, it's not always 3 every day. It's usually 10. No, I'm kidding. But thanked, and then we're just, you know, thank you for keeping this way, you know. The community thanked us, and we were very proud and very humbled by the community saying, hey, you are the best park in the nation again in 24. So we're very proud of that because it was the community that said so. And if the community thought less, then we would be at work trying to figure out how to make it better. It's one of my favorite sayings. My team knows it ad nauseum at this point. We're not focused on best, we're focused on better. There's never an end to our ability to improve. And we are just, the only thing that we want to do is look at last year and say, how have we surpassed that? Because if we won the best last year and we're better, forget the rest, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the new stuff that's coming at Gathering Place and for the city of Tulsa. So you're all probably very excited about what's going on at the Arkansas River. You voted on a lot of this, and some of this is a realization of many years of belief and hard thinking and doing. And so on Labor Day weekend, Zinc Lake is back, right? It's been on hiatus for how long? I don't know, but it's back. And it's going to be back better than ever because there was a lot of thought put into doing it the best we can possibly do, thinking about lots of different things, right? We have to take a lot of different things into consideration. But that dam is 3 foot higher and is designed in a better way to be more ecologically sound. Clearly, there are going to be some challenges, but we will work. I have a team dedicated to figuring out what our part of that, right? And then, of course, there will be a new water flume that's coming in, which you can see a little bit there. That will be operated by the city, River Parks, so that's not technically part of Gathering Place, but River Parks and Gathering Place, we're one family, so it's all good. And then, let's see here. So this has already progressed quite a bit since this picture, and this was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But this is an angle of this is Gathering Place. This will be the first space at Gathering Place that actually has direct interaction with the water without having to climb through bushes, right? So this will be called Quick Trip Lakeview Lawn, and it will finish the lawn sequence that we have, starting with the Great Lawn by Peggy's Pond, going up top and then coming back down to the river. So it makes a beautiful lawnscape all the way through that progression. And it also now gives us sort of an interactive space that we haven't had before that is going to be complicated for us because it's on the other side of River Parks Trail. And so it's operationally, it's always been sort of focused on, let's focus most of the stuff unless it's sports related specifically. And so this provides us with a new exciting challenge for us to activate that whole area. So it's hard to tell in this picture here, but you can see sort of, that little, there's going to be a stage like where that little orange and white thing is. So there'll be a stage that we'll be able to program on, and we'll be able to do fun things like music and concerts and kids' activities and things of that nature right on the riverfront. And you'll see there's pathways throughout this, and then the lawn itself will be a lawn that you can sit on, and it'll hold about 2,500 to 3,000 people for an event. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really excited to open that. Okay, Williams Crossing. So has anybody had a chance to sneak on there yet and break the law? Okay, so we have one lawbreaker over here. But yeah, I'm kidding. So I've had the opportunity, and I think we actually have a picture in here, but that bridge is over 1,000 feet long, just over 1,000 feet, I think about 1,065, something like that. And it is the longest style steel arch bridge in the country, and one of the first. This is something that you see a lot in Europe. You don't see this kind of bridge as much in the United States. And the design is absolutely impeccable. It's beautiful. The flooring on there is the same aggregate that we use throughout the park, so the pathways, so it'll have a familiar feel. It's 18 feet wide, so there'll be 2 sides to it. There'll be a pedestrian side, which will also have some chairs along it that you can sit on the way. And to answer the question right now, no shade. And then on the other side will be 2 lanes for bikes to go, and bikes and scooters and stuff like that to go back and forth. And it'll bring both sides back together after the loss of the last bridge, right? And so we're excited about it. It also has RGB color lighting, and so it will light up beautifully at night with different types of colors, and we're excited about that. So those are sort of the 3 major pieces to the puzzle. Well, and then of course Zinc Lake itself. So Zinc Lake will be, this Labor Day will be open. Here's another view of the lawn from looking northbound, and you can see, where do you think people are going to want to see those fireworks? It's going to be a good fireworks place because they shoot them right off that bridge there, so that's great. I'm so excited. Here's another angle of what it looks like, and so you can see that our lawns, that lawn there, we call it, for fun, we call it the shark fin, but it's actually the North Land Bridge lawn. That's the lawn that's directly over the land bridge that connects us so that we are able to go from one side of Riverside to the other. And then you can see how it interacts and engages with the river. Here's another nice, really neat view. And so you sort of see the overview of how Zinc Lake goes past the 21st or 23rd Street Bridge, whichever sign you're looking at. And it keeps going. Right now, they've brought the water back down for testing and things like that. That's on purpose. That's not because of the heat. And so as soon as all that stuff is done and the last minute stuff, and by the way, it's going to be a race to the finish line to be done in time for the opening on Labor Day weekend, which is going to be fun. And so you'll see that that'll fill up again soon. The city has done an excellent job. I have to tell you, they're very conscientious about people's concerns regarding water quality and all those different things. And so it's been very transparent, continued meetings. There's a website on there that shows the protocol that will be used and the amount of testing that will happen and the communication that will be given to all of us should there be an issue that arises based on the testing. And that will continue onward. There will also be a system in place to alert people down there if there's a reason why you shouldn't be in the water, right? It's opening with no gas or no powered vehicles on the water to start. There is talk about in the future maybe electric vehicle type work, but kayaks and canoes and things of that nature are absolutely welcome. The rowing club, et cetera, will be absolutely welcome on Zinc Lake. And we will open no swimming, okay? So, but there is a long-term goal to achieve swimming in a very safe and controlled and ecologically sound location. So that's a longer-term plan, but we're opening the way I just said. Okay? Does that make sense? Great. All right, another view. It's a great view. So if you when you walk onto this bridge, if you start on the west side of the bridge, the way it's designed is it actually goes out into the water. And so you literally feel like you're walking out onto the river. It's just an amazing feeling. And then you have that beautiful view of the downtown area. And so it really is gorgeous. And then, of course, if you're down on the water level, it's also a great view. So we're excited to see how that interaction and engagement happens once it's officially opened for everyone. Just a couple more slides. You can see there the dam, and it has twice as many of those, what do you call them? Oh my gosh, it fell out of my head. But the gates that regulate the water as the original one, and so they're able to manage this a much, safer and more efficiently than before. Okay. So we had some lawbreakers, or my team, however you want to call them. But we did a little sneak peek for my team because they've done so much work to get ready. And so it was a great day to have them out there, and they got a little bit of an overview of the bridge. And so that was a beautiful day, and I think we can't wait to have just every Tulsan just go up there and enjoy it. So that's the Zinc Lake riverfront. Okay, coming to you very soon. At the end of August, the last day of August, starts a 4-day weekend of that Friday evening will be the official opening of it with the mayor and all the dignitary type people. I think him, and so that'll be on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday is all about Tulsa music and Tulsa everything. We're going to have a really neat art exhibit at the boathouse that talks about the history of our river and the history of our river and our city. And so that's been curated by our curator, Laura Clark, but also in conjunction with a whole bunch of different groups here in Tulsa. So I'm so excited about that exhibit. For those of you who are history nuts and believe in your local history, I think you're going to find it really, really nice. We'll also have an art installation by Rachel Hayes up there, and then we're going to have a great big duck. You all heard about the duck? Yeah. So there's going to be this duck, and it's really big. It's 61 feet tall, 71 feet long, and I don't know, and it's wide. And it's going to be on one of my hills, so we'll see. Hopefully it won't fly off. But we're excited about the duck, and we're going to have a fun night with Hanson. They're coming out to celebrate, and the old time, the hometown boys making it fun for us. But there's going to be lots of great local Tulsa talent from all over. Some great King Cabbage, you name it. There's going to be lots of fun. And food trucks and all that stuff. So it's all about Tulsa. It's all about celebrating this great city. Okay? So one of the things that I have a lot of passion for, and so does my board, is the programming that we provide at Gathering Place. The programming is all about what can we give to the community that they can choose and enjoy that really underscores all the beautiful things that are available at Gathering Place. So we have a varied type of programming, whether it's health and fitness, or it's sustainability type stuff and ecology, or it's STEM or STEAM, add the A in for the art, you know, or is it, or can it be a nice movie night sponsored by Cox, right? There we go. I thought I saw him in here. You know, and all these things are things that the George Kaiser Family Foundation and our gracious sponsors help us bring to the community for free. So everything we do is free. We don't charge for anything unless you are asking for catering services or food and beverage, which is third-party operated by a great group called SSA Food Group. They're the group that also does the Tulsa Zoo, if you were curious. All right, so one of the great programs that we've done, and we're in our second year, and we're really excited because this Saturday culminates to what we're calling the Global World Festival, and it's Global Gatherings. And Global Gatherings is a 12-week program that we did this year that celebrates the culture that is right here all throughout Tulsa and the surrounding community. And so we reach out to the community at the beginning or late winter and say, hey, if you have something that you want to share with the rest of the community, we'd love you to share it at Gathering Place. And so you can see some of the great things that have happened. That mural in the back, by the way, was done by Yadika Fields, who's a local artist. And he really just he just did I can't believe we're gonna paint over that in like 2 weeks. It's an absolutely gorgeous mural, and it shows just this whole feeling of one globe, one, you know, and many cultures together. And so that really fits into our vibrant and inclusiveness, which is part of our mission. So you can see some other examples, and you know, what's exciting about this is clearly it's for families of all ages, but you know, we have a lot of children who love it, and they get exposure to lots of different types of music, food, dance, displays, demonstrations, storytelling from different types of story backgrounds and stuff like that. So we also have been trying to reach different parts of our demographic here in the city. We've done a really good job we partner with TPS, Tulsa Public Schools, and we have a great program that we work to make sure that education and people who want to come to the park, we help enable that. Like we'll actually pay for the buses for schools that can't afford it to bring them over, those kinds of things. But we also got a lot of feedback from the community that, hey, what do 20, 30, 40 somethings do that can be fun and sort of focused on getting to know each other, because we're that kind of community. And so my team created this concept called Sunset Social. And the very first one we did was part of our 5-year anniversary, and it was really successful. And Experience Tulsa got wind of it, and they were also working on some stuff, and they were like, hey, we'd love to partner with you. And so we've created this program that happens throughout the year, I think monthly. When is it on? Like, so every third Thursday we have a Sunset Social, and it sells out. So it's 300 people, the drinks are free, the enjoyment is free, they usually have a speaker there, there's usually a DJ, and it's just an opportunity for all of us of all ages to come and enjoy and meet new people from our own city, people who just arrived to the city, and people who are just looking to meet people that they haven't met before. And it's been really successful. And so we are trying to hit all different fronts to be appealing to everybody as much as we possibly can. So here's a great example of some of the movie nights that we have. These are very popular as well. These are great because in a lot of cases, movie nights are behind a barrier, like a pay barrier. In this case, they're not. And we even do a little bit of programming ahead of time. And like fun stuff, like we'll have, like for example, if it's Frozen, the movie, we'll have the characters from Frozen out front so that the kids can meet them and things like that. And again, this is all for free. And then Cox comes in and they do a whole bunch of stuff so that people are comfortable. And so it's been a great partnership with them to be able to bring this to our community. It takes a lot to keep this park up and running. And You know, when they designed the park, they were thinking about from 1 million to 1.5 million on the high side of people would show up every year. Well, we're at 2 million. So we missed that estimate in a good way, but it has had serious impact, and not to mention the weather, right? Every year there's something I have to look at. But you can see here, this is a 5-year-old, absolutely amazing playground element that we basically had to rebuild 40% of it. Because our standard is at that level, so we will actually figure that out. That's not cheap, and we make decisions that are as financially, fiscally responsible as we can to make that happen. But that's something that, as we think about the standard and the quality, this is something that constantly weighs on my mind to ensure that I'm providing Tulsa with the, with the standard that they've come to expect, for sure. So you can see I have a wonderful horticulture team. Our horticulture is in-house, so they have we've learned from the last 5 years. We've made changes, we've made advancements. I think the park looks better than it ever has. I mean, it's incredible. You know, weather has been impactful for us. We've lost over 20 of our legacy trees, the original trees that were on that property. Some of that's due to, that's just what happens when you build a $465 million park and all the stress that creates on the land. And by the way, if you remember, that land was all flat, right? So it's not anymore. So that creates some challenges for plants and stuff. So, but they have done an excellent job of managing that. And I'm telling you, if there's one thing I want you to remember when I leave here is the team members at Gathering Place is really, they're the ones that make this what it is. And if you get a chance to see them out there, thank them, because they do this because they love it. They're really pretty incredible. So I already talked about this, but thank you to the city of Tulsa and the surrounding areas for saying, hey, you guys are doing a good job. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time today.
Thank you for that presentation, Julio. A couple of things. First, I empathize with your introduction to Tulsa. When I was 12 years old in Corpus Christi, Texas, my dad announced to the family that the company was moving him. The choices were Dallas or Tulsa. I, of course, was a Dallas Cowboys fan at the time, mid of their Super Bowl runs, and I wanted Dallas. I thought it'd be cool. A few weeks later, we found out it was Tulsa, and I cried myself to sleep that night. I've obviously matured since then. I love Tulsa precisely for the reasons that we have things like TCF and the Gathering Place. So thank you again, Julio, for that. Second, I also remember when the park opened, there was a Tulsa World article that interviewed some children for the first time, and one of their comments I distinctly recall was, "This is like Disney World." Disneyland. Perhaps that was foreshadowing for your arrival here, but I personally have used that quote in my life to resist the pressure of taking my family to actual Disney World, because I deem it chaotic. So far, so good. I'm sure I'll be worn down. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary. This week's book is Voices in the Park. Upcoming programs. Next week, Roger Randall, former mayor, will rejoin us for History of Tulsa Part 2. You might recall that he had to cut off pretty early in history, so a lot more to learn from there. August 21st will be Brian Elliott with Sharp Development. They'll discuss the development of the Brute Hotel and the branding of 18th and Boston as the Sobo District. August 28th, Randolph Russell will join us. He's an author of a book called The Fascinating Story of America. He has traveled and visited with Rotary clubs across the United States, and we're very much looking forward to his program. Now for upcoming events, we have a side mic announcement from DJ Morrow Ingram.
Thank you, President Daniel. I should have sat on this side. I've got notes so I can get through this quickly. I'm chairing this year the Tulsa Rotary Foundation Grants Committee. And I am following the footsteps of some people that I really, really admire. And next year will be my 30th year being a member of this club, so I've seen a lot of people come and go. Tate Cavett, Bill Vogel, Norm Simon, Andrew Coffey, Stephen Robards, Karen Langdon, and those are just a few of the people that have chaired this committee that does so much for our community. Since its inception in 1972, over $6 million has been invested in our community by this club's foundation. Last year, we spent a little over $194,000. So that's just, you're touching people's lives. So I'm here for three things. One, still love to have some more committee members. We have 16, and that sounds like a lot, but we will probably have in the neighborhood of 75 or so applications for grants this year. And to be able to do them the proper justice of review, I need people. So if you're interested in having a direct path and making an impact on our community, it's an influencing education, health, economic development, join the committee. Let me know, let Tina know. We have a first development meeting right after this meeting, but that's a short notice. Second, I want to always encourage you all to donate and support the Sarge in making our foundation grow. So every little dollar, every little penny, everything helps, so please continue to do that. And then in Monday morning message, you should have received a link, well, you did receive a link at the bottom for the grants application. That will be on our website. It's going to be on our social media. If you are involved with a nonprofit group that would like to apply for a grant, you have, technically the deadline was August 31st, but that falls on a Saturday. Then the next Monday is Labor Day, so you have until September 3rd, close of business, to get those applications in. So share that information. You can read all about it. If you have questions, please let me know. And again, if you're interested in knowing more about the committee and being a part of really making an impact on our community, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ. And now it is Sarge time. Sarge Barker, come on down.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I feel like we should kind of dispel some of the rumors about my hair. Number one, yes, this is my natural hair. Why do you ask? And number two, no, an animal did not die and land on my head. All right, so let's just get that out of the way right now. But thank you everyone for being here for another episode of The Price is Right, and I am so excited. This was not planned, by the way, but did you know that The Price is Right Live is actually coming to Tulsa on October 27th? All right? So, Sarge Elvis, are you here right now? All right. This is my Graceland. So, maybe, I'm just planting a seed right now, maybe we can do something in terms of a maybe Rotary event, kind of a group Rotary event. We could go and catch The Price is Right live. Just planting some seeds, that's all I'm doing. And next week, just to let you know, we will be playing the high-low game. You have your contestant sheets on your tables, otherwise known as a pledge card. Please fill them out, and you will be eligible to play next week's high-low game. Now, I'm really excited about this too, because next week we will be utilizing sound effects. I have actually researched and found the old Price is Right sound effects. So we will be utilizing them in next week's game. So when a contestant says something correct, you will hear. Also, too, when a contestant says something that is factually correct, you will hear a ding. So for example, did you know that my IQ is actually 160? You were supposed to do a ding on that one. Okay, all right, it's 125. But I mean, I don't need to brag. It's 90. All right, let's get to business. All right, Matt Davis, are you here right now? Can you stand up for me? All right. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate your contribution and happy birthday. And also, in recognition of Samantha Isler, we have inducted into the Circle Cinema Walk of Fame. Someone made an anonymous contribution. Isn't that cool? And have you heard about this? Samantha Isler has been in a lot of different movies and TV shows. And do we have her aunt here? Tina? Tina, are you here? Oh, can you stand up for me, please? Okay. Now, I need to find out how good of an auntie you really are, okay? So we're going to put you on the spot a little bit. Have you watched all of her movies and TV shows? Oh, you have? Okay, all right. So we're going to quiz you, and we're going to find out which movie or TV show has Samantha Isler not starred in. Are you ready? I am ready. Okay, all right. Is it A, Grey's Anatomy? B, Supernatural? C, Molly's Game? Or D, Derek's Game? Now think about this.
It would be Derek's Game.
All right, we'll give her a point. And by the way, Tina, happy birthday. Thank you so much. It's also her and her husband's 37th wedding anniversary, so congratulations. Thank you again. Now, someone else made an anonymous contribution of $100 to celebrate Tina's birthday, but also Daniel's birthday. Daniel? Oh, hi.
Hello.
There you are. All right, Daniel, I have one question for you. Now, we know that you were part of the Sandlot baseball team, the Tulsa Breeze. But I'm going to need you to help me to answer this next trivia question for me, okay? Before Daniel's Sandlot baseball team was known as the Tulsa Breeze, they were, A, the Tulsa Never-Ending Road Construction. B, the Tulsa Second-Degree Summer Sunburns. C, the Tulsa Not Gonna Find a Parking Downtown. Or D, Tulsa Kings, later sued for copyright. Which one, Daniel?
Let's see. Based on the temperature outside, I'm going with B.
All right, that is correct. All right, thank you so much. All right, everyone. Now, before I leave you, I just want to remind you once again, your pledge cards are on your table. You can fill them out. You can give them to me. You can leave them on the table, and I will pick them up later. Or you can also text to give 44321 Sarge and make a donation, or you can also donate online by scanning the QR code. But either way, as long as you give today or tomorrow, you are eligible to play next week's Price is Right game and win big. All right, and also, just a reminder too, I'm going to skip this. Just a reminder too, Sarge Barker fines, if you need to, just contact one of the producers. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Sarge Barker. Special thanks this week to our gold sponsors, We Be Trees, Tim Knoll, Max Electric Supply, Jack McGlumphy, Coldwell Banker Select, Sheree Gardner, and OK Ethics, Mary Lytle. To this week's silver sponsors, Associated Mortgage Corporation, past president Chuck Wilson, Bank First, past president Paul Baumann and Bill Miller, Clear Ridge LLC, Matthew Bristow, Southern Millwork, Bill Vogel, and to this week's bronze sponsors, PricewaterhouseCooper, Daniel Simone and Kevin McManus, Regent Bank, Elaine Dishman and Greg Boudreau, Rumble Drum, Todd Wade and Joe Mathis, and Spirit Bank, Rhonda Hayes and T.C. Blair. Committee meetings today, Club Foundation Grants, room 231, Club Foundation Development, room 232. So with the Olympics going on, I thought today was a good time as any to remember the greatness of Oklahoma native and Sac and Fox Nation son, Jim Thorpe. In the 1912 Olympics in Stockholm, Thorpe won the decathlon and the pentathlon. He won the gold medal in both events. He was unjustly stripped of those medals shortly thereafter, and they were not fully restored until more than 100 years later in 2022. In one of his most famous photographs from those Olympics, Thorpe is shown wearing two different shoes. That's because his were stolen. He found a couple of replacements that didn't match from a trash heap. That setback did not seem to bother him at all. But my favorite story from those Olympics is that when Thorpe was being awarded his gold medals by King Gustav V of Sweden, the king congratulated Thorpe. He said, "Sir, you are the greatest athlete in the world." Thorpe's reported reply was, "Thanks, King." It's that combination of greatness and humility that I find truly inspiring, and it's something I think of quite often. So in closing today, I hope that everybody will remember to share the magic of Rotary through service above self with that same strength and humility within our own club and in our day-to-day lives. Thank you for joining us today. We're adjourned.